So I recently just read Haunting Adeline, and woo boy, let's just say I've been in a reading slump ever since. Dedicated my time to this book, and let's just say I can't dedicate my time to no other book right now. Hi guys, it's your favorite book bestie, Zariah here, and I am about to do a book review on Haunting Adeline. Let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. First, I want to start with character breakdown. First is Adeline. I love Adeline. Okay, listen, hear me out. I know some people would probably call her dumb like in the first book, but I really do like Adeline. The story wouldn't really go nowhere if she wasn't the way that she was. I love that she was like an author. I hated that they didn't do much with that. Like, she was an author in the beginning of the book. That went out the window once she got this stalker. Like, it was just like, okay, she was an author, and now it's like we ain't heard nothing about that. Her character in the second book, baby, she better than me. Cause she gave up, but not really, if that makes sense. Like, the way she was fighting, and she got out, she's better than me. She's a very strong main character, and I feel like a lot of main characters aren't strong. Like, they're always like pushed to be weak-minded, and then a man comes and then they make them stronger, and I don't like that. Next is Zay. Y'all already know. I love Zay. I would not change anything about Zay. Like, Zay's character is just so powerful. Like, everything about his character, it alludes, or you know, when it comes out, or it just gives, let me say that, it just gives off like powerful, like everything he does. I love that his character literally takes down trafficking rings. Like, I just love that. Like, and it's like, I don't want to say it's unrealistic, because he does this by himself. Like, yes, he has a team behind the scenes, but he goes in there and like takes them out by himself. You know what I'm saying? So realistically, I don't see that like happening with just one person. Like, I can see like squads of people coming together and doing it, blah blah blah. But realism aside, like, what he does is so good. Like, I feel like that balances his stalking Adeline thing. Like, on one hand, like, he's really doing like so much good, and then he has like a place where the girls go after they get rescued to like rehabilitate. That's what I'm gonna say. If it's wrong, shut up. I don't know my words. I just be talking. But to rehabilitate and just get their lives back together and get their thoughts together and all of that good stuff. And I just love that. Like, it's like, I understand why people would not like him or would find it weird that I or somebody else likes him, but you have to think of the good that he's doing. At the end of the day, he saved Adeline. So I really don't want to hear nothing about that. He's my second favorite character. I'm gonna tell you who my favorite character is in a minute, but Zay is definitely one of my favorite characters. Next is Daya. Daya is Adeline's best friend. I love Daya. I feel like Daya was the only one who had like common sense switched on the whole time. Because when she found out that Adeline was having sex with Zay, even though he was literally her stalker, she was like, baby, what? Like, what? Oh, but as a reader, we eat that up. Like, in real life, it would have been like, okay, baby, I'm going to the police. Baby, it's getting bad. But in the books, we eat that stuff up. It's just something about that. It's just something about dark romance that gets you going. Daya was like, she was not feeling it. But Daya also is a really good friend, because regardless of what happened, she did support it. And when she found out that Zay was actually her boss, because she was working for his company that takes down the rings and stuff, and she did a like hacking and stuff or whatever. Once she figured that out, it was kind of like, well, it is what it is. And even though Adeline was on some crazy stuff, like mentally insane type, like that does give mental, you know, she's still stuck beside her, and I love that for her. Next is Jay. Jay is so, I don't know, like, Jay's character was so cute, like, to me. Like, he was so adorable, like the way he painted his nails, just to feel real, just to feel like a normal person. He worked with Zay, he sees this stuff every day. He sees all this trafficking stuff every day, because he has to hack into the cameras and he has to go through the dark web. So it's like his painting his nails just was relieving to him. He stuck beside Zay every time. Such a cute character, and I love Jay. The last character I want to talk about is Sibby. Now Sibby has her own book, and I really appreciate HD for that, because I just feel like Sibby is such a random character, and I loved her character, especially when she came back in the second book, when she was like a runaway and she had to stay with them. Like, she was just so funny to me. I feel like her character was so important. She helped them kill who trafficked Adeline. Like, I just feel like Sibby's character was so great, and then she ran away. So they said we're getting Sibby's book soon. Sibby and Rio. We're getting Sibby and Rio's book soon. I wanted to talk about Rio, but I don't have much to say. I mean, Rio was cool. He did kidnap us and put us in that predicament, and then try to be our friend in the thing, and then she ended up telling Zay not to kill him. But I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, back to Sibby. Sibby's gonna have her own book, and I can't wait to read Sibby's book and read more about her henchmen, because that was already that's already a story herself. I want to know more about that, so I'm probably gonna read her book soon. If you haven't read this book and this is your first time hearing about it, or if you just looking at reviews to see if you should read the book, if you are not a dark romance person, don't read the book. Even if you read the trigger warnings, reading the actual scenes that's about those trigger warnings it's just different. But this was like a very, like, she went dark. She went into the deep depths of dark romance. It has so many dark things, and it's really hard to process that things like this really happen. Like, in this book, yes, this is fiction, what's happening to these people. These people are fiction, this organization is fiction, all this is fiction. But in real life, a lot of this stuff does happen. This book put me in a reader slump. Honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to still find the source. I'm doing this video specifically so I can get out of my reading slump, because there's so many books I have on my TBR, so many books I want to read, and I'm trying to get into books, and it's like I cannot get past the first maybe 4 chapters without thinking like, dang, I want to read Haunting Adeline again. I tried to read hockey romances, like, you know, cute little funny corny hockey romances. I love hockey romances, but I just could not get into any of them. I'm trying to read King of Wrath, which is not a bad book. I just can't get into it because I just haven't got this off my mind. So I'm hopefully making this video helps me get this out of my system so I can go read my other books. This is dark. Like, their romance was dark, not just because she fell in love with her stalker, but because of the way they fell in love and the way they interact with each other and the way they became like one person, if that makes sense. Like, it was like I wanted to know what was next. Every chapter I was like, this, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? Oh my god, what's gonna happen next? Like, it was really one of those like thrilling, toe curling books. One thing that I liked about this book is how it lived up to its hype. Now, usually on Book Talk, Book Talk can really steer you any type of way. Like, a lot of people, you'll see a book where it's like, oh my god, this book is so bad, I hate this book, it's not that good, da da da. And then you read it and it's like, girl, this is amazing. And you have books where it's like they hype it up so much. Oh my god, this is such a good book, you need to read this, this is so good, blah, 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 blah. And then they'll give you like one good part of the book and put it on TikTok in like a point of view. You put it on your TBR, you finally get around to reading it and it sucks, like, or it's not that good, or it's dragged on. This book lived up to its hype. Everybody was like, you need to read Haunting Adeline, these scenes are crazy, da da da. And it really was crazy. Like, the scenes are actually crazy. You're not going crazy over a book and talking to yourself about the book is not good. How long it took him to save my girl Adeline, y'all. When that thing's, y'all, that stressed me out so bad, y'all. Y'all don't understand. When that thing said 2 months later, I said 2 months. Like, realistically, it probably would have been longer than 2 months. Like, realistically, I get why it was 2 months. Like, you know, it's not something that you can just pop up and be like, oh, I can find you today. Like, a lot of his stuff that he was doing beforehand took time to find where they were and find out all the exits and all the plans and all of that good stuff. I got that. But it was just, this is Adeline, babes. I was like, oh, don't even worry about it. Because it was part 1 and part 2 in the second book. So part 1 was when she was there, part 2 was when she, you know, got out. So I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, we finna be out of part 1 real quick. It's finna be like 2 weeks, and my good sis ain't even gonna have to struggle. I was wrong. I hated the culling. I hated that game. That really, it took me a while to get past that. Like I had to stop reading, and then I had to keep going. And then after I read it, like I just couldn't fathom that somebody literally, like somebody is making somebody run for their lives, and if they get caught with a bow and arrow, they get taken to the back, taken advantage of, limbs cut off. Like this was some crazy stuff, y'all. And then they made the other girls that survived kill the girls that didn't survive. It was just y'all, I just could not. I hated Adeline's father. I still want to fight him to this day. The fact that she went out of her way to come to her mom's house and try to save them, and she just so happened to get her mother shot because she wouldn't want to get shot. She didn't want to get shot. The man was like behind her or whatever, and then she hit him. She was trying to get away from her, and then the gun went off. It wasn't intentional. Like, I don't know what mess you got yourself wrapped up in, and da-da-da, and da-da-da, and da-da-da. Mind you, your daughter just came out of a trafficking ring. Like, you wouldn't let her see her mother, da-da-da. Like, it just made me so angry. Like, I don't know, that was just a different type of anger, because it's like, she already is going to live with this guilt of getting her mother shot, dead or alive. She's always going to live with that guilt. You know what I'm saying? Whether nobody can convince her, like, even though it wasn't your fault the gun went off, even though you were just trying to save yourself and your family, still gonna like tear her up on the inside. So now you're not letting her see her mom, because, and then you blame her for it, and da da da. It's like, she didn't, mind you, it wasn't even Zay's fault. They been had a target on her back. Zay just happened to come in her life at the right time, if we're being real. Because if Zay didn't fall in love with her just by looking at her poster on the billboard, she wouldn't have nobody to come save her. She would still be there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's neither one of those, it's neither one of their fault. Like, she had a target on her back from the beginning. I love this book. I feel like it really opened my mind to what could possibly be going on in the world, and what is possibly going on in the world. If you want more book reviews, let me know. I have read a few books in May, and if you want me to talk about them, I definitely will. If you want to be book besties, go ahead and subscribe and comment down below your favorite book, or comment down below what you liked about this book and what you disliked about this book. I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.